Due to the ignorance of our host, parental discretion is advised.
Welcome back to How Did It Get So Good, episode 286. My guest today. I never know what to say because it's clear outside, but it's night. It's like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever time it is.
Yeah.
Let me give you a little bit of a background story. Background by that I mean just last week or a couple days ago actually.
Yeah.
I came here to record an episode by myself, and there was a couple kids outside in the dance floor. Mm-hmm. They were putting some stuff together, and they actually came up to me and they were like, "Hey, so what are you all about?" So I have a podcast and stuff, and they were putting a fashion show together. And long story short, they're coming, they're on their way. But here with me, it's Ink Money from the Chosen Collective.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Awesome. And you guys take over fashion, music, and art.
Yeah, and like we have like an art gallery that we have people display and
Nice. So how did you guys? First of all, how did you guys hear about this place? Because you guys are you guys here like on a regular basis? Are you guys members of the building, or you guys just did the show?
So my guy Zenata Key is a member here. He's kind of like made this like a headquarters for the Chosen Collective. We started the Chosen Collective not too long ago. Maybe like we kind of started getting the idea put together about 2-3 months ago. So he was kind of in search of like, finding a venue, also trying to find a space, right? So you could kind of like network and kind of like, get things done and etc. But so he's like, he's a member here, and he's kind of like, so we figured why, and kind of did some research on like, how we could get in and the venue and how we could make it work, and so he made it work. Yeah.
Nice. So like I said, I met him last week, and then he invited me for the show on Saturday.
Okay.
And I came in on Saturday, and one of the things that I've been talking about here on the podcast is I've been here for 5 years. And when I started here, and even before, because I used to have another room with another friend of mine.
Yeah.
All there was on the dance floor was the samba girls.
Okay. Yeah.
The Brazilian dancing stuff, and that was only on Thursdays. Right. And nowadays, it seems like I come in on Monday and there's something going on. There's like music, there's something.
Yeah.
And I come in Saturday, because you guys did your event on Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday night. Yep.
So I came in on Saturday, and I'm walking just like normal, because nothing happens downstairs. So downstairs looks the same.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as I'm coming up, and I come up here, and you guys put a whole, what would you say? Is it a catwalk? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I mean,
like a whole area for modeling.
For modeling.
It was a fashion show happening.
So we set up a situation where we could have like, because we know obviously we want music performers, and which is what I am. I'm a music performer. Right. Zen is definitely into the fashion, also a music performer. So we were trying, like the idea was to fuse the two with art. So when we did set up the stage and whatnot, we specifically had it set up so we could have like a walkthrough up on the stage, so we can display the fashion, fashion models. So that whole thing was definitely kind of like, we set it up as like on the fly, but we knew we kind of wanted that, but it's kind of like, we put on our first show. Like, I think we executed really well, but yeah, that whole situation, that stage was definitely set up strategically so we could run as smooth as possible, and it actually turned out pretty good. And we
nice.
Yeah, definitely
nice. Yeah, I hear some country music. There's some tap dancing. There's some like on different days.
Yeah,
there's the Brazilian ladies, and then I come in on Saturday, and it's a full DJ there, and I'm like, oh shit, there's like a whole party going on here.
Yeah.
So let's start with fashion. Okay. So are you guys putting together the outfits? Are you guys working the materials? Are you guys working the clothing?
So with the fashion stuff, Zenata does deal with that part. I deal more like the music artist, but I mean, I do, I help with the fashion as well, because we're doing it together. So when it comes to the clothing line, we actually have fashion designers that we kind of have come in.
Nice.
I think that this show we had 7 designers, so We've provided some models for them. Some they were able to get models for their for them. So that whole situation is kind of like we help, but they kind of like they've already been doing this. So it's like they sometimes prefer to get their own models. Sometimes they want you to provide models. So yeah. So when it comes to clothing and stuff, yeah, that's them doing their own clothing line.
So these guys are the ones that are making the clothing then.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The fashion designers are making their own clothing with the models displaying onto the stage and whatnot. Yeah.
And is this the first? So where did this start?
So that is an interesting story.
Okay.
Me and my guys in Nautic, we were actually we were driving and we kind of like we was in the car late night one time and like we had been doing shows together. He actually kind of introduced me to some shows and like and I had a good experience with him, and it was fun, but and I'm kind of new into the music. I've been making music a couple of years, but going into shows and doing shows was kind of like kind of new to me. But anyways, we were doing shows and I kind of seemed like there was like I'm always like bigger, better, right? Like I'm like a dream. I'm a dreamer. Like I try to dream big, even though like shows are executed well. It's like what else could we do? Like let's try something new. What hasn't been done, or what could we do that might be done, but like maybe we could make it a little bit better. So I came up with the idea of like saying like, hey man, let's put on our own shows. Like you got the connections, I have the vision, you have a good eye of the vision as well. Like he has good ideas, we both have good ideas, and we have like that good energy, good vibes. Then that's hard to find sometimes in these days. We don't like to surround ourselves with negative people or like Debbie Downers or like stuff like that. It's like dream big and go for it. That's what we're on. But anyway, so once I kind of initiated that, then he was like, yeah man, we can do this. We can do this. And then he's like, how about we do a fashion design at the a display at the same time? I said, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm like, why not? Okay. Then he's like, then later on, we start talking about how we're going to put it together, who we're going to invite, start sifting through a lot of artists. And then he's like, hey, man, since we're doing the music, fashion, how about we get some art galleries, going? Why not? It's all about community. Let's fuse this. Yeah, I think it could work. Because, like I said, our experience with shows, it's kind of like, and it's not bad. Like I said, shows are kind of repetitive. It's kind of like you show up, you see people perform, and this, like I said, I've had good experiences, but it's like, what can we do to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more engaging? Right. And another thing too was not only that, but was like, me and Zen, we kind of, we come up in the music industry, and it's not easy. Right. So the little support that you do have, or doesn't matter how amount, which is little or a lot, but whatever amount of supporters you have, we appreciate that, man. Like I take that to heart, because not everybody's going to support you. And then sometimes even your own family, your own friends don't even believe in you. And sometimes you would expect them to believe in you a little bit more than like, say, a stranger you don't even know. But that's the way it is sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so I take it to heart, and I said, you know what? When these people show up for us, let's give back. Like, it's like, how do we do that? Well, how about the first 2, maybe 3 shows? Let's just let them come by free of charge. Let's just do that. Nice. Let's let them get to know us so they can feel the vibe, so they can see what we're about. Now, I also want to take a step further, and it's like, how about we do like a giveaway of some kind, during the halftime show. We can do like a halftime show, right? So okay, halftime show. Let's hand out raffle tickets. Doesn't cost nothing to get in it. Just give it to them. You showed up, here's a ticket. You showed up, here's a ticket. Now, during the halftime show, because a lot of times shows get dragged out. People can't just sit there, especially in this day and age, we got the phone, everybody got ADHD. We got to, it's like you get bored real quick, so it's like, okay, take a little break. Let's do a halftime show. So we do giveaways, do a few small giveaways. At the end, we kind of try to bundle something big, keep it interesting, and give something big. to the last giveaway, and it actually worked really well. People were engaging. People like appreciated that. People were excited to win.
This
You know what
happened
I mean?
last Saturday too?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. All that. So that worked. Everything worked. We do know there's a couple things we could change to make it a little bit better, but it's like really minor. But yet there was always something that you could work on. Like nothing's ever perfect. You know what I mean? So and I like how he's got the same mindset as I do. It's like, yes, we succeeded. It was a success, but it's like, we're like, okay, that was cool, but like, how could we make it a little bit better?
Step it up.
Let's step it up a little
Someone
bit.
knocked?
I'm not sure.
Someone knocked?
No.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't want to be.
Yeah,
Anyway.
no, you're fine. But yeah, so like that was the whole thing with us, and that's what I do like about like because there was some things that I feel like could have ran a little bit better. We could have done something a little bit smoother. You know, some things could have went a little bit smoother. I talked to him about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, like that's that's what it is." And so,
Hey.
but yeah,
Go ahead. One seat there, one seat here. And then the other person's going to have to grab that chair. Sorry, I only have 4 microphones.
You're good. You think she could sit right here next to me? And then I could pass her the microphone whenever?
Sure.
Come through, Phoenix.
Watch out with the camera there.
yeah, there's a camera right here.
You got it, girl. Yeah, we just barely got back from pushing the car.
Yeah, sorry.
From what?
My car died. My car
Oh,
died.
pushing the car. I thought he said prison the car. I was like, what? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So anyway, we just went over a little bit of how you guys started. First of all, I say his name. Zanotic, that's the one that I met you last week.
yeah, I'm Zanotic.
And then
Tiny.
Tiny.
Phoenix.
That's
Yeah.
right. And it was kind of a funny story because you guys were just out here. I just finished doing an episode by myself, and then I walked out, and then you were like, "Hey, can we come in?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do it next week." And here we are. But we were just going over how you guys are basically have the same mentality of how to do things. Like once you work your ass off and put something together, and then the next time is more like, okay, we had success on the last event that we put in, but now how do we step it up a little bit, right? And I can relate. Him and I were he was mentioning a little bit of the support that you get from people, and I can relate to that because to me, and this is not me, dissing on friends of mine, but to me it means more than a stranger says, "Hey, I like what you're doing," than someone that is a homie of mine, right?
Right.
And it's not that I expect them to do it either, because I don't, but at the same time it's like, oh, okay, so somebody that is like doesn't know me, doesn't know who I am, then it's like, oh no, I listen, I watch or whatever, and then that's when it means something. It's like, oh, that's cool, because you're not doing it because you're my homie. You're not doing it because you do me a favor. You're doing it because you enjoy it.
Yeah, legitimate. Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about. Look at this guy.
Hey, this is going on the vlog. The Chosen Collective on YouTube, Instagram. Tap in with us.
That's right.
So basically, what do you guys go over?
I just
Because this
told
is
you.
rolling, right? This is rolling.
Yeah, dude, we're going.
So what's up, y'all? My name is Zenotic, the future Zen, Zenotic. I'm here with the Chosen Collective, popping off, putting on 4 Salt Lake City artists, 4 Salt Lake City. Here we have
Tiny Queen.
What do
Tiny
you do?
Montana.
Tiny Montana. What you got going on?
Anything and everything.
What type of art?
Painting, clothing design,
Oh, nice.
poetry, photography,
She's killing.
makeup,
Nice.
And then,
jewelry making. Like I could keep going.
Hey, tap in with her. She does styling.
Yeah,
Here we got
styling.
Phoenix Child. Bring that over here, guys.
We can hear it just fine.
Yeah.
My name's Phoenix Child, born and raised in Salt Lake. Female rapper, poet, singer, aspiring dancer. I won't say I'm too great at that, but I just like to explore a bunch of different creative mediums that involve bringing people to the forefront in Salt Lake to make it seem more of a unified effort to help pull the buzzing city together rather than scapegoat it.
Yeah, nice. So, again, how was we went over, you do a little bit of fashion, he does a little bit of the music. Now you guys are involving art, right? And so how how hard? Obviously, I can tell you how hard this is because no one gets to see what I do when I leave the room, right?
Right.
No one gets to see what the musician does when they walk out of the stage, right? So, how hard is it to put all of this together? And the thing that I can relate it to, because I used to be a musician, and you have to have, however, members with the same vision, right?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest, being different personalities. You know, so some people have kids, some people have a family. Then obviously, it's hard to say, well, let's focus on this when this is kind of like starting to become something. They're not gonna say, well, I want to focus on this, but my kids are like, whatever. So how do you guys manage that? How do you guys manage to say, like, all right, this day we're gonna get together, we're gonna talk about this, and then go from there?
Well, I'd say that we let God drive the wheel, and we put, the energy in the hands of alignment. But in reality, I feel like we were built for this. We were built to be on the forefront of Salt Lake City and pioneer a unique vision of community, unity, and love with Ink Money, Phoenix Child, Tiny, and so many other amazing artists here in Salt Lake City. I'd say the most difficult part was having patience and letting things just click, because sometimes we want things to always be now.
Yeah.
But on that note, do not tell me to cut off your wisdom, but like when things don't happen the way we want it to happen, we kind of, remember we always say like, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
So we kind of just like let it go, let God, if God didn't want it to happen, that's because he didn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't meant for us.
And we had a couple instances like that too. Me and Ink Money were like, hey, like, let's just keep going, Yep. Sometimes we want things to happen, but one door closes just for another one to open. And, we got locked in with beautiful talent like Phoenix Child here. Has been in the forefront of Salt Lake City for years, expressing amazing poetry, music, and putting her heart on stage. And we had performed a couple years ago, and I was still a young jit. I was still like coming up in the scene, a rookie. I'm a rookie, and I seen her performance, and I was like, wow. And then 3 years later, I kept her in mind, and I hit her up. I was like, hey, what does community, unity, and love, and expressing it through art mean to you?
No.
Are you interested in, being a part of this movement? And I'll let her answer that from how I spoke to her and, what she thought about it.
For me, especially when you speak on like the difficulties of being a self-made artist in Salt Lake, like while you have a full-time job, me and Tiny were just talking about this, like it was difficult.
Yeah.
For me specifically, because like I work full-time and I also perform full-time. So I'm talking like every weekend a show, every night we're planning things. And sometimes these guys had to call me and reel me in and be like, Phoenix, you missed the meeting today. Here's what we have for you. But even in those times, like I'm a cook.
No.
In my full-time job. So I'd be cooking on the line. I'd be like, don't mind the background noise. Just tell me what's going on, And even the day of the show, like I was making things for my outfit at work.
Nice.
So shouts out to Berkeley at Public Kitchen, because he really let me just like, I showed up with the hot glue and the flowers, and I was like on the clock.
Nice.
Putting that shit together. So I feel like it is difficult, but I feel like first of all, if you know what you want and you believe in your vision and your art and you feel like I want to take it there for real, then nothing should stand in your way. Like I come from a community of hip hop specifically built in Salt Lake, and I feel like the community really, it shines with the people who have pushed it there. Like shouts out to Mike Masters and other communities that I'm involved in. Like
Gabino's been here.
Yeah, Gabino, that's my dude. Like he was somebody who came to the forefront and said, I want to do this. I have other friends who are just pushing because they want to do it. And we all have full-time jobs. That's how we furnish this movement, is through the hard work that we put in other areas. And I mean, for me personally, it's an ongoing push. Like, I'm just never going to stop. And I'm grateful for opportunities like working with Tiny and having a designer on stage doing fashion with me for the first time. It definitely pushed where I wanted to take my performance.
Nice.
Right. So I always feel like I deliver kind of an extra performance. Like, I'll be throwing samples in there and shit, but it never really like hits like that. But having Tiny involved and like her listening to my music and collabing with me on just like being the stage part of it, I really feel like it elevated my performance, and I was happy for that. So I feel grateful to be able to participate in any event that you can just tell people put their heart into it. What I don't like is when I show up and people are like VIP 250, blah blah blah, all this, and it's like all for a local show. It's like, are you doing it for the community or because
you
you need a side
bank.
hustle?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so
Yeah.
I feel like I can read that energy really well, and I'm a little picky and choosy about the opportunities I take. So, you know, me and Zenotic definitely had to sit down and talk about like, where are you guys taking this vision? What does this mean to you? Because with me, every show I want to try and at least be able to see like what the temperature is and check the atmosphere and the people I'm working with. It means a lot to me. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, she be cooking in the kitchen and on the stage. So
Nice.
yeah.
I have a couple friends that are in a band. In fact, they're the guys that gave me the music for the podcast. When I met them, because we used to play in like the same bars or whatever, and when I met them, I asked them once, I'm like, okay, so you guys are like super talented, but I was dealing with the fact that the people that I was playing with, like I said, they had kids, they have families, the music is always gonna be number two. So when I say, how do you guys do it? And I asked him, I said, so what do you do for I asked Mike, the drummer, I said, what do you do for a living? And he's like, I'm a dishwasher. Like he was like, all I need to do is make enough money to pay my bills so I can focus on music, which is what I want to do. Right, and like, and I've had him here a few times and they're like, they don't, like me, for example, I'm at a stage in my life that I need to focus on making money with work, right? How am I gonna move up, right? Go up the ladder, making more money doing what I do, right? People like him or like that whole band is the same. They go, okay, what do we want to do? We want to do music, but that's what we're gonna focus on. And they go from, they just came back from Chicago. They're going to New York, and they're
traveling.
They're traveling, and they also have another side hustle with related to music. When they have another band, it's the same people, but it's another name, and they do covers. And so now they can play parties and like city parties, like at a park or stuff like that, weddings, because they get the people going, and it's an actual show. But that's what feeds the original band, the original music, right? But they don't care. They go, I don't care what I make. I just, because that is what allows me to do this, which this is what I want to do, right? And that's where I go. I'm like, we're so different. Like I look back and I go, oh, we're so different, right? Because I also wanted to make money out of music, but I also have other responsibilities that wouldn't allow me to say, oh, okay, well, screw this. I'm gonna focus on this, right? I had a wife and kids and stuff, so.
I want to add another point onto what you're saying, just because I feel like I'm resonating with that. But I feel like also with that, like when you have kids and you have all these responsibilities and all these things going on, like it does make it hard. And that's where you really find the passion to push yourself past like the norm where people would usually give up, Like my brother has 4 kids. He has a solo music. He does music with my brother and he's in a band. So that's 3 groups, And especially here in Salt Lake, I just also want to speak on this. Like, I feel like we're getting to a point in Salt Lake where it's like, we're really buzzing. We're really taking it there,
People are coming through here for sure.
And with that, I feel like it's
we're the movement too.
For real.
We popping off for real.
And I feel like it's important for independent artists to understand their value. We've got a bunch of people who are out there like doing social media influencer shit, and low key, like they're on Canva, printing on t-shirts. No creativity goes into the process. In a lot of these things, you can even use AI right now to write music. You can generate stock photos. All these things are happening where it's like we're losing the value of that true passion in the art. And I feel like it makes it hard for people who are truly passionate about the craft they create and the story they tell to push it there, because there's so much bullshit narrative being pushed in our face. Like, oh, this is what's popular. This is what's famous. This is what's that. And I feel like that makes it hard for the independent, solo, conscious-minded artists to take it there. So I just want to say to all my conscious-minded artists, know your value and get paid. Get paid. Don't walk out there and be like, oh, yeah, I'll do this show for free or I'll pay for this opportunity because it's a big crowd. No.
That's right.
Make sure they know that it's the Phoenix Child show, the Ink Money show, the Tiny show, the Xenotic show. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, too, what we do this for is, for the love and for the self-expression. This is our platform to tell our stories, to connect with people, and to bring a higher message. Everybody's got their own expression and platform and artistry. Fashion, like Tiny does her fashion. We do our music, everything, and being able to have that power to do so is a blessing, because I know folks that are like, that don't have that income coming in or that opportunity, that wish they could be an artist. So this is a blessing, but if we could come together and raise the vibration of the earth and use the tool and the platform for the positive results and outcome, we could also like inspire others and maybe bless others with the opportunity to even be an artist. And that's part of like the movement here in the Chosen Collective. That's why we're called the Chosen Collective, because we're all chosen ones, and we choose ourselves to choose Salt Lake City and bring chosen energy to the scene. So with our event, we actually had 7 music artists and 7 fashion designers, and we had Phoenix Child and Tiny, Detsani and Create Collective, and myself and the future Zen have a production. And that's how our show went, so we could unite the fashion and music. And we also had visual artists come in, and we had booths, not booze. We don't do all that. Yeah, so we had a very good production here in Salt Lake. Tiny, how was it being a fashion designer, being in the show with all those people out there in the crowd? She had some fans over there. Hold on.
Everything I've dreamed of, actually. I've been in the fashion realm for a while now, but it was actually my first show as a solo designer, not designing under anybody, fully creating for myself, and that was really fulfilling. I got to fully have a whole team of models that I designed for fully. Everything, for the most part, that I put on stage was fully curated for the show. And I don't know, it just all came from my own brain, my own heart, my own mind. And alongside with Phoenix, though, it helped me curate. As soon as I listened to her music, like, helped change the vibe a little bit of what I was going to put on stage and try to help match her energy. And yeah, it was hard work. I also work a 9 to 5, so I feel like for the past
we feel that
years I've been clocking into my 9 to 5 and then going home and working my 5 to 9. Like, I just don't stop. I sleep little, but for me, creation is my passion. Is my number one. So even if I'm tired after a 9-hour workday, I'm still gonna go home and paint and create something that like is fulfilling to me, because if I'm creating, that's also payment for me, like,
we're
big
meant
time.
To create. We're all meant to create.
If I don't, that's when I get in my depressed slumps where I'm not taking care of my space, myself, like my mind, anything like that. It's my main release. So every form of creation that I have releases some different type of emotion for me. So I need it. Like, I physically need it to survive. I feel like.
Was this the first show here in Utah? No.
So
us,
well, with the Chosen Collective, this was our debut show, and we exceeded expectations. Really, we did our thing for real. So I'm proud of like the whole team that came through.
I would say, it definitely was successful. Like I was telling him, it was very successful, and we were like, we did a good job, but we're kind of like. We have a high standard. Yeah, we have a high standard. So I was just telling them right before you guys came in. I said that's why we connect, and we like have that same grind,
hustle, flow, mentality.
Like,
all that.
It's like that was cool, but like, can we make it better?
I think that's that imposter syndrome kicking in a little bit, though. Like, if when you curate something and you create something and you inherently exceed your own expectations because you've never done it before, so there's not really anything to go off of.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, obviously you're a creative, so you want to make it better, but there's also the side of it that's like, oh, I didn't do good enough. Like, it could have been better. I could have done this better. But like, that's your learning curve.
Yeah, and I think that's a kind of a good thing, because then you're not gonna be so content with what you did, so you're gonna push yourself. But I wanted to say one thing, what Phoenix Child was saying, like when talking about like value, the artist. This is like people, they just want to make bread off you. You know what I mean? And so like when we went into this, I remember I told them, like, right when we were like talking about it and getting into it, it's like, hey man, we can do this, but there's gonna be 2 things that I want, and we cannot compromise on this at all from now and then however many shows we do. And that is, 1, we're gonna value the artist.
The artist,
we need to value them. they are just every single one, not just like one because they had their better performance or the other one, because we're on different levels. Some we had
different
somebody
paths.
debut their first time ever.
With us.
Doing a show with us, and it's like, let's start putting people on, and then
But the right people too, because we're
right
looking
people.
for we're not
Helio?
looking just for anybody.
Yeah.
We're looking for people with drive that also want to inspire, unite the city.
Yeah.
But each
Shout
person,
out to Helio.
Yeah,
You did
That's-
a good
yeah,
job.
Helio.
He did a
You
good job, man.
Helio
The
did
music was
cool.
fire for sure.
Well, let me name off the list real quick. We
Okay.
got Ink Money, Phoenix Child, Zenotic, They Call Me Chopper, Free Mind Movement, That Sani.
They call me free.
Yeah, that's it.
That's Tani. Yeah,
Yeah, we had
that was
Dasani.
last
That's
one.
all the music artists right there.
And
We didn't-
Yanni, my featured performer.
And Yanni.
Cool. It was actually her first time performing ever too.
Oh, nice.
And then designers, we had Tiny, which represents Two South Clothing, Create Collective, Aku Armada, Momo. We also had Ten
10
Toes,
Toes, yeah.
and then we had Powder Clothing.
Powder Company.
Powder Company. They
Yeah.
do like snow stuff and things of that nature. And then the visual artists were Eddie, which EHE World, Imagery Consulting, and the Future Zen. And shout out to the whole team because we executed.
We
for
definitely executed. So like the number one thing, like I was saying, value the artist. Also value the supporters.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people like the shows that that I've seen, shows that I've done, where I performed. That's one thing I saw is like, man, they don't really value these artists. Like they're the
It's about the
artists.
bread.
Exactly. These artists and these supporters, you can't have one or without the other. You need both to have a good, successful show. So how do you do that? Well, you value the artist, you value the supporters. Make sure the supporters are taken care of. Make sure the artists are taken care of, and make sure they all have a good experience. So, like on our end with the artists that are performing their music, it's like
We took care of them.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna make sure just give them a platform. Like we're grateful that you're here. We're grateful that you're even giving us a chance, right?
Yeah.
It's like yes, we're putting it on. Yes, we're putting all the work in to make it happen. But it's like I'm grateful that you're cool with coming up to our show and performing and actually taking the time to give a good performance. Phoenix killed it.
Yeah, Phoenix is out
Phoenix killed it. I was like,
She was damn
man,
near
she
crying.
really put in the work, and that's what we appreciate. We value that.
Yeah.
We don't want to take. That's what I see. A lot of promoters do. Take. It's like, man, you got to value these artists. They're putting their heart and soul. And when we sift through all these artists, we want a genuine. We want genuine artists that are actually been putting in work, that do put in the work. So, but with that being said, our supporters.
Look, and that led into our giveaways. Halftime
Exactly,
shows.
yep.
We had giveaways for the supporters, and we did
Giving
two.
back.
Yeah, we gave back to the community because, like Ink Money mentioned, and we all agree here, it's like people are always taking, but you can't always take love. You gotta give, and that's what we were giving, love. I had some things to give out, some shirts. We passed out some cologne. Next merchandise. Next
Yep.
event, we're gonna have a PS5.
Yeah, PS5. Look out
We're
for
gonna have
that.
a Lamborghini.
Don't miss that.
And it's
Maybe
kind
not
of
the Lamborghini.
I think it's awesome you guys are doing this because it's so difficult to have someone to be focused the entire length of the show.
Exactly.
It's so
Yep.
hard, and
Exactly.
it's hard in podcasting and in playing music in anything, right? Like I obviously I follow a lot of my comedian heroes podcast, and they all say the same thing. Like the studies have said, like after 20 minutes, people are not paying attention anymore.
Right,
so
right. Keep it
so
interesting.
so when they do, there's a special. They're like, oh, you want to do an hour? They're like, no, dude, I'll do 23 minutes, and then the whole entire thing will be like from beginning to end will be a half hour.
Right.
But that's because they want people's attention, and they said after 20 minutes, people just start. And I'll be the first one to tell you this. Call me late, but I've been watching Game of Thrones for the first time, right?
That's smooth.
First time ever.
Same.
Right? So, which episode are you in?
I'm on season 2. I'm at the end of season
See, I'm on
2.
season 5.
YouTube.
So yeah, but the reason why I'm saying this is because at the same time, it's like on one episode I'm like this, right?
Right.
On another episode, it's like I have it in the background and I'm like playing with my phone, and like whether
Gotcha.
it is the I'm not focusing on it, or the episode is slow or whatever, but like having that attention span, which is be like, okay, I'm blocking everything out, and this is what I'm gonna focus on. I don't have it. So as a performer, to know that you're dealing with that kind of stuff, or like, okay, I gotta keep these guys on edge because otherwise they're gonna be like, hey, look at that and stuff. Especially in a place like
I think
this.
that's on knowing your value. So if
Yeah.
you know your value as a performer, as an artist, people can't deny what they're seeing, and they don't want to look away because you're presenting yourself and you're not wavering in your presentation.
Especially in a place like this because we're full of art. So someone can just be like watching you guys and then they go, oh wow, look at that painting, and then they go, hey, look at that painting, and now there's 2 people not paying attention. See what I'm saying? So
especially if
I
you have
get
your especially if you put your heart into what you're doing, it's undeniable. You know, there's things that you just make that's just undeniable because it's quality, and that was our motto for like this event: is quality over quantity. And I seen that with Tiny's work too, because a lot of people were complimenting Tiny's work, and you know, just adding on to that, and even 10 Toes, all these beautiful designers. Like, we chose these people because of the quality. You know?
And you know what? I do want to speak on what you said about like how things can be engaging, like Game of Thrones. Like, that was one of the things I noticed about that show, is how I was like, I actually like this because I went to film school, so I'm just naturally a bit more critical of like the way I did of like the way that things, like how scenes transition.
Is like, how can we monetize this?
You don't have to pay me real money for that. But listen, so when I was going to school, like I was taught film theory. And so like when I watch movies and I see music videos, one of the things that I always pay attention to is like the transitions and like the music they chose after and like what did they set up in the next scene, like and sometimes you'll be watching something so good and then it'll just go into some bullshit and you're like, fuck, you could have done that so much better. And that's one of the things that I do with my set. Like, I will literally sit there and mix out, like, depending on what shows I'm playing. Like, sometimes I do a Juneteenth show. I'll throw some, like, James Brown, Erykah Badu, the samples of my songs. I'll throw, like, the original song in there. Like, I have what is that goddamn? There's a song by Dr. Dre that's a sample to one of my songs. I sang, the other song that had the same sample was Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. And then I played that song, the beginning of the Dr. Dre song, and then that led into my song. So, like, I really think about, like, how's my show going to sound? Because some of my songs are real high energy. Some of them are really emotional. So I'll be, like, building, like, okay, we're about to have a high energy moment here. I can add this from my music video about self-love because the next song's about love. Yeah. And even Tiny, like, was listening to my music and, like,
Princess
planned
Mononoke.
Planned out exactly,
Studio
like, around when.
Yeah.
Like, when her artists were going to come out to my music. And, like, the
energy
build.
The
The energy build is really important to me because, like, when you're doing a 20-minute set, for me, all my songs are, like, 5 minutes, 3 verses, really long music, you know? So it's important for me to be able to make sure that the crowd stays with me. And that all started when I was very first starting out. I would do poetry on stage.
When I was, this is the part when I go, when I was playing, when I was young, back in the day, that's me right there, as a baby playing drums. Aww. But one of the things that I would do, and I got this from one of my drumming heroes. I made sure people saw me when I was playing, because obviously being the drummer, you're on the back, right? Like everybody's walking here. You can't walk, you can't do anything. But not this guy. I was doing backup vocals, so I had like the whole Britney Spears microphone, right? And also during my playing, I was, without stopping, would throw drumsticks, catch him, right? Like I would spin him, I would stand on my drum set, I would jump, I would get the people going. So that's what makes people go from this to like, oh, look at that guy in the back. Right, so that's what goes. Oh, look, something different, and they go, oh, you know, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before.
And listen, I'm gonna add another note onto that because I do want to say, like, there was a change for me, like where my inspiration kind of was like took off because like think about every artist you've ever seen on stage. Okay, you go from the transition of like the openers to that artist. I have never seen a musician just come on stage and be like, hey, you guys, what's up? Like. They really build into the engagement of that moment of like, hey, you came to see me. Now it's my turn. Now let me utilize every resource of this venue to show you a fucking dope ass performance. I'm a Beyonce stan. Renaissance, that should say it, all of what it needs to say. Her entrance was fucking ridiculous. Okay, like
Nah, yours
that's
was better.
what I aim for. But that is the inspiration that I draw from and what I aim for when I'm on stage. And I think it's funny because most of the time when my music starts, people will be like, "What the fuck's going on?" I'll be like, "Leave the mic on stage and doing all
That's
this
what she
extra
told
ass
me.
shit."
She said, "Leave my water bottle on stage." I had to like casually walk up on stage and just leave it and come back off.
Yeah,
Which is
so
it's beautiful.
I hope that more artists start doing that because I would love to, like, especially in hip hop, it's a lot of new beginners, you know? Yeah. People just, sometimes they'll bring a beat on YouTube. They don't even have the ability to skip the ad. Yeah. You're sitting there waiting for the ad to be done just so you can play their shit. You know what I mean?
But that platform, though, that, like, you guys are creating is, like, huge for a lot of those people that would never be able to seek that out or find it. That it's, like...
Which platform?
The platform that you're creating, just to have people come,
Yeah,
do their
like
craft, perform, like take the space to curate and create and
performers. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I feel like I utilize that.
No,
the platform.
you're creating it.
No, but like we're all creating it. Yes,
we're creating this space.
But like you bringing these
get your
people
shit together before you come to my show, all right?
You brought us all together though, right? Yeah. And like for me, like I'm always trying to seek out places and spaces where I can showcase my art or just be myself. Even like, I mean, I guess it doesn't even really have to have a space. Like I'll go to the store dressed like I do, or I'll lock myself in my bedroom and curate the same stuff, even if nobody's looking at my Instagram page. Yeah. Like, but to have a space where people are coming to be tuned in, even if they are off in La La Land or not fully paying attention, like that's huge for a lot of people that, I don't know, like it's that boost that they need.
I think it's awesome that you guys have found a way to involve everything, right? Because everything, at a certain point, everything is art, right?
Yeah.
I play at the Raw Awards. You know what those are? So,
No.
so see all those colors, those little color squares at the bottom. So it's got photography, art, fashion, music, and all those stuff. So that the Raw Awards, they put it all together, and then basically everybody competes, and the final. So I think if you're a musician and you win, I think it's like $5,000 or $10,000 towards a recording album. Damn. Like that kind of stuff they put together, and they did it here at the complex. This is back 2012.
That's fire.
They do it every year. Or is that just like
they do it? I don't know. I used to still get the emails about, hey, we're about to get going, and because they do an interview. I mean, we have that band has a video on YouTube, and they're interviewing us and stuff, and they do it with like they spend the time with every single artist, and then every single artist has like their own space and their own. I mean, like I said, there's makeup, there's fashion, there's music, there's art, there's paintings, everything, and but besides you guys, that's like the only time, and that's like the big leagues per se, right? Especially here. Right. That's the only time that I've seen it. Away that money. So the fact that you guys are doing this, and now you have the venue. Hopefully, it's the first venue, right? There'll be others and bigger ones and whatever.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But now that you have found that this works, it's just like you said, just how to make it bigger. I'm that way too when it comes to dreaming, and for the longest time, my ex-wife used to tell me, why can't you just say, oh, I'm good? Because every time that I reach something, I'm like, okay, now that I have that, like, what's next? Right?
My dad always used to say, be proud, be happy, but don't be satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's perfect.
Improvement,
it's perfect. Yeah, because whatever it was, it's like, see, when I started this show, I was doing it with a friend of mine. We used to be called The Other Side of the Beehive right there. That's a friend painted that.
Okay. That's dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
And another friend painted this, and that one behind you. But anyway, so we started like that, right? And then I think we recorded 3 episodes in his house, 4 episodes, and my head was like, we gotta get out of this house. We gotta go to a studio. And he's like, we're not making any money. And I'm like, yeah, but just think about this. And I always find like the real, not the meaning, but like a real reason of why we should get out of here. It's like, hey, what about this? What if we have guests on our podcast? Are you going to be comfortable, letting them use your bathroom when you don't know them? You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna bring them to your house? They're gonna know where you live. Like, you don't know where these people are.
Yeah.
So then, kind of convinced him, was like, all right, let's do a studio. And then we got here.
Right.
And so then from here, it's like we started just with the table, and I was on one side and he was on the other side. And then we went from there to everything that you see in the wall. Yeah. And there was 2 couches, a long couch here for a guest. Mm-hmm. We have a guy that was sitting on that table back there, and he will Google stuff for us, and we can see it on the camera, and then we could see.
Can we still do that?
We can see. Well, we don't have another one.
Where's he at?
But same, right? Because then that guy was like, "Oh, I need to do something that is bigger than this," and obviously we were like, "Yeah, for sure. I mean, you do you." And he's actually, I don't know if you guys ever heard of DJ Bad Boy Brian?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I know Brian.
You know Brian?
Yeah, I do know Brian.
So Brian is my best friend.
Okay.
He's one of my best friends.
I used to go to the bar that he plays every weekend, like all the time.
Which one? Right now?
Chakra
Lounge? Yeah. So Brian, Chakra Khan.
You're about, man. Line your chakras, baby.
No, but see, he's at a spot now that he plays there Fridays and Saturdays. Every single weekend he's playing.
Really?
So
what type of music? Sorry.
He's a DJ, hip hop, right?
Yeah, hip-hop, like, you know, it's like
Toe parties or whatever. So it's kind of, so I've seen his growth too, right? Because when I met him, when I first started hanging out with him, he was like the guy that was carrying the speakers. He was the guy that was carrying the equipment.
You showed me like pictures with him and Rihanna and
yeah.
Rihanna, really?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. But he was one of those guys that said, "Oh, I'm gonna invest in myself," right? And then he saved his little money, and then he bought his turntables, and now his turntables are ridiculous. And I don't know nothing about being a DJ, but it was funny because when I go see him, every now and then he's like, "Well, I gotta go to the bathroom," and so the music is playing, right? But every time he does this, the majority of the time, I pretend like I'm playing. So I put the headphones on like this, and like I'm pretending that I'm looking at the laptop and I'm doing my thing, but I'm not moving anything.
Yeah, you're just doing the movement.
And so someone took a picture of me, and this is recently, like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. 2 months ago. I did that. And then I posted the picture on Instagram, and I say, "Hey, Cinco de Mayo is coming, so book me for your parties or whatever." And another guest I've had here, she got a hold of me. She goes, "Hey, I have a wedding that I need a DJ for." And my first reaction was like, "Why are you telling me for?" Yeah. And he's like, she was like, "Well, I thought you said, to give you a call because you do DJ, right?" Yeah. And I'm like,
"Fake it till you make it."
I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with it. Like, no, I was like, no, I wasn't even playing. So that was a funny thing that happened. But I've seen him do the bottom guy stuff, right? And now he's like, now he has a residency when he can just, he plays Friday, and like when the events come like throughout the weekend, like Pride Month. Mm-hmm. He played Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Nice. So, he's making money on that, and he's investing in himself.
But I think doing that bottom level stuff is that laying of your foundation.
Exactly.
Nothing worthwhile going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? It
absolutely.
takes consistency day in, day out. And we know that as, artists, and especially in fashion, we wear our art on ourselves, and we get to create it if you know how to sew and really design. And that's why when, Tiny said that you go to, the store and you're looking fresh, if you feel good, you look good. And that's our art right there. Yeah. And so
we're like, where are you coming from? What are you doing?
I'm
Where's
the
show? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Even now, when Tiny was pulled over on the side of the road, if Tiny wasn't dressed like Tiny, I wouldn't have recognized her.
You seen her?
I was literally
she pulled up right behind me.
Pulled up, opened my door. I was like, Tiny. She's like, my car's broken down. I was like, shit. I recognize you.
At me, and I'm standing.
I pull up out of nowhere and I run over to her and I start pushing. And I'm like, dang, bro. I was like, dang, the weight room ain't working. And so I start pushing. And out of nowhere, a homie comes from the intersection. He starts helping us, and Phoenix called that out. And so the universe works in mysterious ways.
We were in the middle of the road on 4th South. I knew somebody was going to get out of their car and come and help us, for real.
Yeah.
So one thing that you guys have mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I think it's awesome too, even though you guys have found a way to involve music, design, art, fashion, all that stuff,
speeches.
you guys are not close to more people joining, right?
What do you mean?
So,
like more
yeah,
art
like
stuff.
So more artists can come and be a part of this thing, or it's just you guys.
We are really working as family,
Okay.
just close people, and I think that's like the best thing. I mean, if you want to go, faster, go alone. But if you want to go longer and have more duration, go as a team. And we want to work with people that we really trust. But we're not opposed to like being open to new faces because we are getting a lot of people, hitting us up.
Yeah, they are.
But
I
we
mean,
like
there's
to.
a Google form if people want.
Yeah,
to
we
hit us
have a
up,
Google form.
Yeah.
And we have curated quality events that really focus on the artist and the audience. Like, people left really happy, and that's what we're here for.
And
I,
you know
I
what?
just didn't
One
know if it
thing-
was you guys going into every single event or there was like other people that were gonna go and join them. That's what my question.
Well, for the
was.
new event, for the next event that we're looking for September, is going to be the new era Volume 2. So we're going to double back with the new era because this is a new era not only for just us but for everybody in the artistic scene. And we are eyeing down just to bring like 2 new faces and maybe
Nice.
3 more designers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Little by little.
Yeah,
I like
We
that.
definitely feel like
I like
we want to keep who wants to stay around.
Yeah.
Because we want to move as a team. But
Let's
also
back
at the
this
same
up a little
time-
so we can
Oh,
hear
yeah.
you more.
I
Now
just kinda put it
she's
next.
closer
okay.
to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, she probably hear that, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So I was saying, like you saying, we definitely want to keep a solid team, but at the same time, obviously, you got to switch it up a little bit from time
Yeah.
to time, so people are not
Keep
just,
them
like-
guessing.
Yeah, keep them guessing a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. So and also another thing, like too, we kind of just like figured, like I remember we talked about the opener for us, right? To just because being first is kind of like you just kind of set the tone. And also that's kind of like a position where you kind of give somebody that's never like performed or somebody that's like new to the scene
Or even who's good at
or
opening.
even good at, or yeah, you can
Like
find
me, I don't
somebody
mind
that's-
going first just because I like setting the tone, just because the energy, Or I'm good at going first, middle, or last, just because of the energy. Like I don't mind going first because I just bring that energy of good vibes.
Yeah, set the
so I'm
tone.
like, let's get everybody, bring Phoenix Child up on stage. We even had shout out to DJ Heartthrob. He was also our DJ.
He was
Can't
dope,
forget.
He was
super
amazing.
dope.
He was amazing. He killed
Yeah.
it. Great vibes. I see you, Heartthrob, Sebastian.
Yep.
He came in and did bios. Like he would go on stage and just read off. Okay, Phoenix Child is a curated, dope artist from Salt Lake City. Focuses on X, Y, and Z. And I set the tone for the people. And then we had people walk in. We had a designer bring his fashion line, Aqua Armada, and he had live snakes in
That
the
was
fashion
dope.
way. He had animals coming in.
Yeah.
And then for mine, I had a Frenchie come in during my runway. I had a French bulldog, and I came. Everybody was like on this side doing the fashion show, and I came out of the elevator right there and with the Frenchie, and I met my models and everything. So we have a very unique professional quality showcase.
Yeah, and I think what I liked about it too is like from like the artist standpoint and like even the fashion designers, it's kind of like we fused them even like so we gave the option to our performers like, hey, you want a designer to like kind of help you on your performance? If not, that's cool, but we're gonna let you decide how you want to perform your you display your art.
We gave them the canvas.
Yeah, we gave them the canvas. You paint it,
And we gave them the
tools.
tools to do it.
Yep.
But it was just up to them.
Yeah.
And that's where Phoenix Child and Too Soft Clothing, Tiny, came and united on that. And I think it's beautiful because that was a good representation of unity and merging through 2 different art forms.
What I thought was crazy was how me and Tiny know each other from before. Because I was just like,
way back.
yeah, I was
Connecting
just like,
people.
old show designer, cool, whatever. They
Yeah.
can be on stage while I'm on stage, and then
No, but
When
I
we
like
pulled up for that
specifically
meeting,
asked
yeah.
for like queer presenting people or people that are like in that
I already knew
aspect
Phoenix
of
Child
them.
was on that wave too. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
these two, and
Yeah.
you guys worked.
Which is
a
cool though,
mile.
but like she said, like we met like years and like
Yeah.
years ago, like for quite a
and we hadn't really
Probably
talked a
2020.
lot, so it was
No.
like it was really cool to be able to see your artwork and like honestly like how we were talking about how you want to push harder. Like you made me want to push harder because I was like I want to provide a dope, unique soundtrack
that
for
feeds me
Tiny's
back,
art.
and I'm like, okay, now I gotta go harder.
I mean, I was just gonna email my music,
Yeah,
you know.
go
I was
harder.
just like gonna send my 3 songs, and then I came here and I got an idea of like where they were really at, with like how much effort they wanted to put in this, you know. And when I saw that they were gonna go there, cause I'll go there, and I feel like that's kind of why I got pulled into this, is because I do kind of give like more of a performing artist on stage type of vibe.
Yep.
Performance
So
art.
Yep.
my
And we
vibe.
when I
appreciate
saw
that.
like, okay, this ain't gonna be just some regular hip hop show where they're like, send your music.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
like we were all working together, and
Nice.
even though at the beginning, because I worked so much before I was able to come and meet in person, I did kind of feel like I was just like that musician, you know. But when I showed up, and then like, I mean, like there were parts of the show that I had influence on, you know, and I was happy to be able to provide what I know just from being a musician, being somebody who used to kind of plan shows, like helping with the bios, and you know, kind of curating like the set times of like, okay, so you aren't going to have a designer or a musician. That's great. Showcase your individual art. I want people to be able to do that, no problem. But with this whole art fusion fashion thing that they wanted to create, that really provided a unique platform for, again, the people who really care to take it there. Yeah. And that's one thing that I do appreciate about this show, is because there are some shows where you go and you can tell they're just going to stonewall you. Get up on stage, 15 minutes, you go any longer, we're cutting you off. You know what I mean? I could tell right when I walked in that these guys really wanted to give me an opportunity to provide that platform for myself. And when I have that opportunity, I will fucking take it there. So I was really happy for that, guys.
Yes, love. Because you can make, you can take inches and make miles if you like actually, if you actually want to, you know.
And we appreciate that you going above and beyond, because that just makes us look good.
I know I made it. I made it a little hard for you guys. They were talking about patience earlier. That was me. That was me. I promise you. I made them exercise it.
But we appreciate it. Like I said, that's why when it comes, I know I'm gonna bring it back to like valuing the artist. Like I value that. I value that she went above and beyond, because we're putting on the show. That just makes us look good. You know what I mean? It's like, give them the platform, let them be unique. Let them go about it how they want to. Let them paint their canvas, like what Zen always says.
Not even just that, they made themselves look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what we want to give them the opportunity for them to look good.
Can I ask you guys something, though? Because I want to talk about this. Like, I want to talk about that extra 10 minutes that I made you guys wait, and how you felt, and how you guys felt, especially when you saw me actually do my thing.
For me, I didn't take it that you made us wait. I took it more as like just the crowd and the people waiting. And so that's when I was like, okay, but me as an artist, but also being like a host as well, I understand where you're coming from. So I was like, all right, let's work around it and let's make magic happen. And that's why when I went on stage and I actually started doing a motivational speech on high level, you know, high level is sovereignty, you know, high level is high level thoughts, high level energy, high level habits, you know, and that's the model for the show. Let go of who you are and step into who you can be. And this is the chosen collective, you know. And so you doing that was just like, man, girl, I get it. Let's just let's work around it, because we were a little bit early on schedule.
Well, for me, I'm I'm gonna keep it 100. I was pissed. I was upset. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. But I saw, because the only reason why was because the only reason why I was even upset is because something had happened before. It had nothing to do with you. It was like, we had set the times, and this is our first show, right?
For sure. No, I get it.
And there was only little hiccups.
But they were, so like we strategically put everything together, and we timed everything, right? So it's like, okay, you know, this person comes up, all right, then it's this, and then it's this fashion designer, and then these two. So everything was running smooth, and then I almost even got skipped on my time. I was like, oh, wait a minute, like, how is this happening? Why are they're about? We had some designers about to pull up. I was like, no, hold on. They were supposed to go before them. You know what? All right, we're just gonna fix it right now. You're supposed to go. I'm gonna go. Then that we're just gonna cut it off, and then we're gonna get back on time.
All because of her?
No. This is before her.
This happened.
No, this is before. Yeah, this is before.
I was the one that came in and said, "We're going."
Yeah.
Oh, slow down.
See,
it was an experience.
But see, that had happened, and I was kind of like, damn, like there's a little hiccup, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, we had that situation with her, and I was just like, you know, it just was like the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, it wasn't really a big deal, but it was just that straw, and I was like, oh, I just like walked away.
But Phoenix Child's a diva. Okay, we get it.
But it worked out though. It worked out. It did. It really did.
Fucking rock that shit.
Yeah. No, it worked out, because I feel like that little space was kind of like it like you were able to get up there and say a little speech.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Inspired the people, you know.
Yeah,
and even like with the passion, like when I showed up, like I wanted to talk to Tiny, but Tiny had like chains in the mouth, sewing clothes on a live model. I was like, Tiny, hold on. Like,
it's a production.
You know, it's a production.
Miles had to be dressed from head to toe.
So where do you know Brian from?
I
Just on Chakra?
I think that's where I met Brian. Yeah. I was dating someone at the time that kind of like introduced me to them, but I thought he was a cool dude.
Yeah,
then he was always
Brian's
very supportive of my art, and
so when I got divorced, he was living around the corner from my house. Mm-hmm. So he was like, "Hey, this is a big ass house, 5-bedroom home. It's just me and my son. Yeah, you should come and live here." So I lived with them for a year and a half, couple years, and then grandma passed away, and he ended up buying her house, which is the house that he grew up in, and
You just lose it.
I guess, dude.
Okay.
And he and so then all of a sudden he left me live there by myself.
In the house.
Yeah, so he's like, man,
He's,
he
just a good
that's
man.
dope.
He is.
That's how I
He
know.
has one of the warmest hearts I ever.
That's cool.
One of the
Hell
nicest
yeah.
people I ever met in my life, and I'm happy that he's my best friend.
It's those Jaeger shots.
So how long have you guys known
yeah.
each other? You said?
Brian and I.
Yeah.
So Brian was. So Brian and the guy who painted this are the first two friends that I had when I came to Utah, and that was 23 years ago.
23 years ago.
Yeah.
So
That's
where are
a
you
while.
originally from?
Yeah.
Mexico. I
Okay.
came here when I was 18.
Oh, you're Mexican?
Yeah,
You speak Spanish?
I came here.
Hermano.
I came here when I was 18.
You're Mexican.
Oh,
Do
okay,
you
yeah.
speak
So you were
Spanish?
born and raised
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much out there.
Yeah.
Came out here.
But at this point,
Latinos,
at this
Abocus.
point, I've lived here more. Like I lived there for 18.
Right.
I've been here for 23.
Okay.
Okay.
Bananas.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Do you ever like go back visit or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it's nice.
What part of
What
Mexico?
part? Yeah, what part?
From Merida, Yucatan, from the Yucatan Peninsula,
Oh, okay.
where all the Mayan ruins are.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
that's cool, man.
That's
What a
beautiful.
cool place to be born.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Seeing like fellow Latinos too, like
I'm
me
all
being
about
from Venezuela.
that stuff.
You are from Venezuela?
Yeah, from Venezuela.
Well,
And-
my the other best friend, he's from Venezuela. He
real?
was born. He was born here
That makes sense.
in Tennessee, but then he grew up in Venezuela.
Yeah.
To the point where he's like, I'm not American, I'm Venezuelan.
Yeah, that's how it
He's
be.
Venezuelan. I'm Mexican, so
Yeah.
There you go.
I guess with
I'm Native
that makes
American.
sense.
see?
Native
That makes
American,
sense.
Venezuelan.
So you
Egyptian.
guys should fight us.
Hey, you see the soccer game, the Copa game?
No,
Venezuela took that.
so I just bought this place in South Jordan, and I was trying to figure out my cable or Xfinity or whatever it is. So I only got what I
Those are
got
good
so
games.
far, but I know that it's going. Yeah.
Yeah,
But listen, before we go, let's go over everything again. I want you guys to tell, this is your camera, tell your socials. That's your camera. Tell your socials, where they can find you individually, where they can find the whole group. Where's the next event? If there's one plan, just everything. Go ahead and
we want to
give
start
it-
with you.
give it to the people.
Tell us about your podcast. Tell us how long you've been doing it and what inspired you.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Tiny and then we'll go
Flipped it
around.
on you.
I was,
He said reverse.
I know the people that follow this podcast. Oh, here we go again. No, I started it with my friend, the one that I work with. He's actually my boss nowadays. And it was just because I got into podcasting because a friend of mine sent me a Joe Rogan episode.
Right.
And then after I started looking through Joe Rogan, then I said, oh, I know this comedian, and then I will listen to it. And then I know, and I was like, these guys are making money out of just hanging out with friends.
And just talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized that I really got close to Justin. Justin's got used to do with me. I really got close to him, and he is a huge MMA fan. He's seen them all. He knows all the history of it. So every time we would get together at his house, him and I will fuck around. We were drinking, and we'll be dumbasses, and people will laugh, and it's like, oh, there's something here. It's like we're making these people, like we're entertaining these people. And so I asked him, do you want to do a podcast? And he's like, oh, I thought nobody would never ask. And we did it for he was short of 5 years. He decided to spend time with his family more, and his daughters are growing up, and one of them is being a jiu-jitsu master, and the other one is a cheerleader, so whatever.
Yeah.
But no, so things changed to where we kind of have to. He had to step out, but I always wanted to do my own thing. Like even going back to making it bigger and bigger. Like I had my show with him, and I was actually asking around to see if there was another room available because I wanted to do my own thing. So when he said, "Hey, I'm gonna step out," I already it was a matter of days, and I already had a name, and I already had a song, and I already had. And then I started sitting down with people that I am really interested in, just people that that are working with the homeless community out there, and finances people, and I mean I've artists like now I got you guys, artists is like check, but I've had a couple.
Yeah.
And before that, I have my guys that are bands, and I've had MMA fighters. I mean, I've had it all. But
Yeah.
it's always come down to, especially when I was with him, it's always come down to kind of like a man cave.
Right.
It's all.
So you like your own style.
So
Infiltrated the man.
it was like it was literally like fart jokes all day, right?
Yeah,
I mean that's that kind of kind of vibe that we have. But then when he's stepped out, then I said, okay, I want to make it so I can do solo episodes, but that's what you guys saw me last week. And then I can do very serious one with like somebody that I'm really interested in, or I can just bring one of my friends and then we fuck around.
Yeah.
So that's how mine started.
That's beautiful.
How are you?
Okay.
Congrats.
Tiny Queen, Tiny Montana. You can find me on Instagram at tiny.queen_. You'll know when you see it. Trust me. How did I get started? Birth. No, I've always been a creator. I've always found creation. I grew up a dancer. That inspired me heavily for a lot of years. I did gymnastics, cheerleading. And then, I don't know, I think about 11 or so, I started sewing and taking apart my hand-me-down clothes, making them new and different, and coloring on them and getting in trouble for coloring on them.
I want to show you. Don't think that I'm not paying attention. I want to show a picture to see if you look like this person. But keep going.
Okay.
Lady Gaga.
No.
But yeah, no, I just used it a lot to kind of escape reality a little bit in the beginning and heal myself, express myself in ways that I felt like I wasn't being seen or heard. It helped me get that fulfillment of just curating, getting it out of my body onto a canvas, onto clothing, into a poem, just finding different ways to navigate my emotions. And that is what continues to inspire me.
No, Tiny looks better. Just kidding.
What is that?
Maybe you should figure out who she is before you say that.
Yeah. I already
No, I'm
know.
saying, do they look alike?
They do.
They do.
Who's that? Your long
Do I
lost
just have
cousin?
that face? People tell me all the time that I look like somebody.
This is my oldest stepdaughter,
It's the platinum and I think it's the makeup
right?
and the smile.
I think the
Because now that I'm
face,
looking at
too.
her, I was like, holy shit, that's Madison. But
Yeah.
I'm actually Tiny Montana.
She's faded.
No, but I think my inspiration just comes from my experience for the most part, and that's my drive to keep creating and to see people that engage with my art and are inspired by it. Like that further makes me want to keep creating, just because if I'm inspiring people, I must be doing something right. If I got haters, I must be doing something right.
Yeah,
Like,
very true.
every avenue of it. Like I don't like, from where I've come from and like the things that I've traversed through, like going backwards is like not an option for me. I would rather just like push a little harder and be a little tired and keep creating than be in the slumps of my sorrows where I started before I really found my creation. So
That's good.
yeah.
nice.
Beautiful.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Zanatic?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Zanatic is like, he's getting comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when I was born, I was like, ah, damn it. Hey, if you would have been here first thing, dude, we would have went over that.
that's too. I know. Well, you know, going on the 10 minutes I'm about to go on. Nah, I'm just kidding.
We start off with.
Let me just start off with, well, I'd say I'm just a messenger. I'm a vessel of truth, the messages of positivity and fulfillment. I'd say that Zanatic stands from Zen, exotic. You could be a Zen person, but in an exotic way, which is Zanatic, and it fuses duality into wholesome and oneness. Not to sound weird or nothing, you know, I'm into like, just kind of like quantum physics and physics and things of that nature, and it inspired me a lot, like spirituality and just Mother Earth and taking care of the people around me. From a young kid, I've always felt like I was here for something major and something huge, and I found it through the artistries, and you know, relating to Tiny too. Like I really just wanted to feel myself and express myself in a unique way. I just wanted to be different and unique and create my own legacy. And I did it through this way and through fashion, music, and YouTube, things of that nature. You can find me at zenotic.officials because we are moving official. My brand is called The Future Zen because I'm a visionary, so I see a future world where people are in balance, are healed, and more love on the streets and more community and unity, you know. So I want to give a shout out to your podcast, to Utah Arts Alliance and Make Salt Lake for allowing us to be in this facility and building. Tony, Jonathan, they're killing it, and we're excited for the next event. So we're pioneering here in Salt Lake City, so
Nice.
you know, we got
Phoenix?
Phoenix out.
Come a little closer.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I mean, like, I refer to myself as the little sister of Salt Lake City hip hop. I grew up around this shit. Like, my brothers are musicians. All of his friends were my friends when I was a kid. I was the little sister, so I grew up around tons of musicians. I always felt extremely inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I started writing music and when I was a kid, like high school. Didn't start performing until I was 21, and my friend Christopher Cruz, who passed away, got me my first show on stage. And when he passed away, it really was like a moment of decision for me of like, okay, that was really hard. Do I keep doing this and fight the pain, or do I just stop giving a fuck and try and hide from it? And I decided to keep going. And so, you know, I don't really care who makes it first out of Salt Lake. I know that one person does, and we all do. And I'm going to keep pushing until they hear my message.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And you can find me on Instagram is the best place. And it's at the Phoenix Child with the 3. And I post all my shit on there for all my other stuff. So.
Nice.
High level.
Yeah. I go by the name of Ink Money.
Mm-hmm.
My Instagram, you can find me, is INKMONE 2024. So I guess not to drag this out, I'm just gonna kind of keep it short and sweet. But grew up in Salt Lake. I currently live in the East. Moved out there about 5 years ago. I'm in Maryland. I work in DC. I tattoo professionally. That's where I get the money, or the name Ink Money. I've been tattooing professionally for the last 10 years. Growing up in Salt Lake was cool. My parents divorced when I was about 14. That's right when I started kind of getting in a little bit of trouble. You know, being around the wrong people at that age from a broken home is kind of, it sucks, you know, right? Yeah. So it's like, so anyways, I just never want to be home. So I kind of was like turning to the streets. But anyways, wrong place, wrong time. Ended up doing some time when I was 18. Got out after 10 years. And, you know, after what I've been through and what I saw, I knew that wasn't for me. So did a whole 180. I actually learned to tattoo while I was in there. I took that craft, took it out here, mastered it. Being out here, I did succumb to alcohol, and then I was an alcoholic for years. I sobered up on my birthday, February 6, 2022, and that's when I knew I had to step up my game in all aspects of life, when mentally, spiritually, physically, in relationships. In 2024 of April, I was about 2 months sober. I entered in the Baltimore Tattoo Convention, which is, anybody that tattoos knows that's a very, very hard tattoo convention to win. I ended up winning first place, best black and gray. That was an accomplishment that really, really inspired me to keep being sober. A year into my sobriety, which is 2023, I came out here. I couldn't believe that I could even pull that off. I had a lot of demons, a lot of pain that I never dealt with, you know, in alcohol, you know, I just would just, you know, yeah. But so then I know Zen through my son. He plugged me in first into music. I've been making music for when I was like younger, but I never took it serious. When I sobered up, I started taking it serious. Learned how to make my own beats, learned how to produce, learned how to mix and master. Once I kind of got that down, I started releasing music. That's right around the time Zen had reached out to me and kind of like gave me an opportunity to perform. And hey, man, and it's crazy because I kind of manifested that. My music career has been manifested since the beginning, where I first started like, I need to learn how to make beats. All right, and I did. Then it was, I need to start releasing music, and I started to. Then it was like, I need to start doing shows. He came across. Then I'm like, then we were together on a little tour. I was like, we need to start doing our own shows. We're gonna make it unique, and we're gonna value, like I said before, our artists and our supporters. Now here we are. You know, July 6, 2024, which was 2 days ago.
So today's the 8th.
We made history.
We did make history.
We made history. We broke
we
ground.
made herstory, actually. Herstory. From a
Herstory.
woman's
Oh, yeah.
perspective.
Yes.
Well, day street.
Yeah.
There's a day, so we made day street, and it was monumental.
Yeah, it's definitely monumental. I mean, it was crazy. I remember giving a speech on there, and I just wanted to say, I just wanted to thank everybody, but it ended up being emotional. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it
for
was
sure.
just kind of like
A lot of work
why
was
is
put
this
into
happening?
this.
Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of like in my speech, I said, this was just an idea, then it was a dream, and then it was just after and this is the thing I will say, if I could give any like, I like to inspire people, right? And I always say, like, I dream big, dream, right? Dream anything. You can be anything, but behind that dream, you need to put the work in. You need to do X, Y, and Z, what it takes to get there. So first dream, then put the work in, make it happen. You can manifest things. I truly believe in manifesting, and so that would be a message that I would like to leave before I, take any more time.
And on top of that, I just want to add, thank you to the Most High, God, the universe,
Yep.
and our friends and people that, come around and make our, journey better. Because it's not always about the destination or the journey; it's about the company. And we got good company.
The company
with
you
us.
bring. And we want to thank you, man.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
having
thank
us
you.
on here.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you.
yeah. I want to thank you, definitely.
For sure. That was
Thank you.
The Chosen Collective, baby.
That was just a thing that happened outside that door. We're like, we want to come in. I'm like, sure. I got nothing going on Monday. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That was cool. So the Chosen Collective, does that have its own socials or?
On Instagram at The Chosen Collective Official. And we have a YouTube channel, The Chosen Collective. And we're coming out with clothing merch. Stay tuned with positive quotes and positive affirmations, And, Tiny's going crazy. Phoenix Child, Ink Money. Stay tuned to all of us and more people that's on the team because, the sky's not even the limit.
Nice. You can catch this show, How Did They Get So Good, on Instagram. Somebody stole my Facebook, so I don't have
Really?
Facebook anymore.
Not the
I don't know
Facebook?
what happened. Yeah,
What happened to WhatsApp?
And also on YouTube, you can catch me at Ange Cervera on Instagram.
Wait, what was it?
Ange. My name is Angel.
Angel.
So my it's Ange, just without the L.
Okay.
Ange. I don't know. People call me that, so I kept it. But thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Of course,
And,
thank you.
And much respect and good luck with everything you guys got going on. I love it. I dig it, and I think you guys are doing a cool thing.
Hey, The Chosen
Thank
Collective
you.
on 3. 1, 2, 3. The Chosen Collective.
I was like, it's like, how did it get so good? I'm like, anyway, this has been How Did It Get So Good. Thank you.